do people have enough of a voice in what we were talking about? We saw some really nice looking videos that MoDOT supplied, but do you feel like there's enough of a voice for folks in this conversation?
I actually don't think there is enough of a voice. We actually did a workshop yesterday and an agency admitted, we need to do better. And so I think this paradigm shift that's happening to how we envision transportation, part of what needs to happen is how we actually engage residents in those conversations at the beginning. It's one of the things we talked about with the South County Connector is like, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail to you, instead of having at the very start saying, here's the problem that we have, let's all come together and look at the different solutions.
Because a lot of people will say there is a problem. We've seen some articles and op-eds and different things where people saying, if you were in my shoes and you try to get from South County to Clayton.
Exactly. So it's not that there aren't problems to be solved, but what is our thinking in finding the solutions?
There was a comment that was made on the previous panel that these problems are too technical and residents can't really engage in them, and I happen to strongly disagree with that. Some of the work that we're doing in Pagedale over the course of 4 months, we did a Great Streets plan, we did a transit-oriented development plan, we're doing plans around biking and trails, and like Jennifer said, we need to just change how we think about it, because doing effective community engagement is possible, but sometimes it takes longer. You got to take the jargon out of the presentations. You really got to think about those meetings and those relationships, but it's critical. There will not be success around transit in the region if we don't shift our paradigm on that front.
People are certainly making themselves heard on the South County Connector.
Yeah, they sure are, and I was hopefully one of those people. I mean, I think if we step back, MoDOT did do a very good job with these on-the-move surveys. They talked to a lot of people in the St. Louis region. And what was at the top of the list for people in the St. Louis region was don't build more roads, build more other transportation options, meaning increased bike and pedestrian connectivity and enhanced public transit. So that's what St. Louisans are saying, not just St. Louis City, but the St. Louis region. The reason we're not doing that up to this point is because the state of Missouri does not fund anything other than road construction in transportation. MoDOT is not a department of transportation, they are a department of road and highway building. So if we want to listen to people, we have to free up the money in Jefferson City so we can go to the projects that people want. We've built the road network in the St. Louis region to the place it needs to be. We have more miles of road per person than almost any other region in the country. What we're lacking and what we're quite honestly falling behind on compared to a lot of other regions today is doing the rest of the stuff. And that is what people are asking for. And it's what we can deliver, and it'll improve people's quality of life if we can get the money from Jefferson City.
We said at the top of the show, we have more, I believe it's 33,000 road miles, I believe. We have more road miles than Illinois and Kansas combined, but I guarantee it's not hard to find someone who will complain to you about rush hour traffic on 270. So where does the disconnect there?
Well, I mean, for one thing, everyone is using those roads at the same time, during those rush hour periods. One of the guests was talking about, can we look at, are people going into the office at the exact same time? Can they work from home more? But it's also the imbalance of all those other options. So if we had a more robust transit system, I know that Metro is working really hard to do that with their rapid transit study right now to look at new lines.
And what about trails? Let's just talk about the things you work on.
Yeah, I mean, trails are really great, and Great Rivers Greenway exists. We have a tax that's funding them to do those trails. That is a great layer, but we need more on-street bikeways as well. You may not live close to a trail, so it's layering in. It's increasing the amount of options that we have. Car sharing is another great example. We need to expand that in our region. And
I think part of that is doing education around those things. So it's not enough just to build the trails or to build the bike lanes. And one of the things that you all are really good at is providing education about, okay, what does biking to work really look like? I mean, what would that really take, and helping people think through that. So even little things like car sharing or bike sharing, people can be apprehensive about sometimes, and so providing education along with the infrastructure changes.
I just saw a story, 332% increase in bicycle commuters in St. Louis since 1990.
Right, and that's, I mean, people people are burnt out on only using the car as a way to get around. It doesn't make people happier. Now, to go back to your question about why are people sitting in traffic on 270, it's not because there's not enough roads, it's because there's too much sprawl. We've baked this traffic into the pie because the region has sprawled so quickly. So if you go to a project like the South County Connector, which affects my constituents, it is that same dynamic. You ask the St. Louis County Highway Department, why do you want to build this project? And they can't tell you. It'll increase connectivity. Well, it'll decrease quality of life for the people who live there. Now, it's a radical idea to say, we're going to build a road through your community and it's going to decrease your quality of life. That is a radical idea. What is a very normal conservative idea is to say the infrastructure we build should make the lives of the people who live around it better. And that's really the switch we have to make. Road building for road building's sake doesn't solve traffic, and it doesn't improve people's lives. And it's a dead-end street, to use a stupid metaphor.
No, I said we would do that. It's
Puns
fine.
intended.
Right. To keep going down that road, and Missouri desperately needs to diversify what we're doing transportation-wise, because transportation is 50 to 75-year infrastructure. And if you're not making the right decisions now, you're going to be living with those wrong decisions for the rest of our lives.